Week number 2 of this race series, and we have some rain, unfortunately. Strade Vino, same one as a couple weeks ago, same course, you know the drill. Whooping, 88% recovery, feeling pretty decent. Had a little bit of a heavier week going into this race. This week we had a bigger field with the rain. I think some of them got scared away. There was about 70 registered, probably 60 or so lined up. 4th last time, guys, at this race. And if you watch that video, you'll know last lap, a couple miles ago, I get dropped like a sack of potatoes. So after that, there were 2 big things I needed to do. Number 1, I needed to understand how to beat a teenager in a bike race. 2 of the 3 guys on the podium were teenagers, and the other one is how to stop being such a wiener on the descents. If you guys watched that video, you know that every time it came to going down that hill, the gravel was a little loose, and I couldn't do it. So this week I decided, wiener descender, he's dead to me. Never to be seen again. And the reality is, because of the rain, it did kind of help pack in the gravel, and it was rolling a lot better. So same course as last time. This is the only hill that you really got to worry about. We're going into it right now. You hit this right-hander, and we start going up. Last week, everybody kind of took it easy on this first lap, and within the second lap, I mean, half the field was shelled. So everybody was a little squirrely on this climb. They were really eager to be at the front to ensure that they didn't get dropped. You can kind of see everybody really huffing and puffing to get up there. And to be honest, it was super apparent that this was going to be a little bit spicier than last time. At the top, I did sag that climb, so I wanted to get in front of a lot of these guys before we started going down the hill. The other thing I'd point out, the guy on the front, that's Nick. He's a St. Al's rider, and then this guy, second wheel, is a George's rider. Both of them, along with a few others, raced the 1-2-3 field, but this week they jumped into our field. So, in my opinion, probably a little bit stronger than a lot of the riders that we had last time. The wind, definitely a factor, even more of a factor this time. It was a little bit stronger, and yeah, it hits you right as you're coming down the bottom of this hill and along this backside of the course. This first lap was probably the hardest, in my opinion. It was the spiciest. If you look in the rear cam, you can tell it's already getting fairly strung out. And like I said, a lot of people are getting cagey, wanting to stay towards the front. People throwing attacks early right here, you can see it. With the unknown of these other guys that came down from the 1-2-3 field last time, I was definitely one of those people wanting to stay towards the front. I didn't know how motivated they would be to throw attacks. And with the wind, and knowing what happened last race, I was definitely wanting to go with any move that I saw threatening. So like I said, definitely want to stay near the front, but I wasn't about to throw out any attacks of my own. But you'll see here, people were definitely eager. I'm going to leave the sound on right here. I definitely wasn't going to fall for doing anything and trying to drag anybody around. And so people were yelling. I kind of stayed cool. If there was something that was going up the road that I saw threatening, then I tried to follow the closest wheel I could.
Come on, go through a knot. Get out of the way of your knot.
I love this banter here with Brian. He's wanting to encourage someone to bridge this so he can ride the wheel, and definitely wasn't going to be me. Once again, I think he's referring to me. Slowly here you can see people keep jumping across, and they are some of those more threatening riders. So I decided I gotta jump too, but I don't want to take anybody with me. So I launch, do over 1200 watts, try to ride this guy's wheel, and if you look in the rear cam, definitely didn't want anybody following my wheel. No free rides, folks. Alright, so I do make it across. This guy helps a bit following his wheel. We're carrying a little bit more momentum, and so we actually pass the brake just a little bit. And if you look in my rear view, Ben, who was on the podium last week, he also bridges across, and he has so much momentum that he just blasts through everybody. I definitely am not going to follow a solo brake in the wind, and so I shuffle in and get behind this wheel here. Alright, jumping forward, zoomed in, you can see Ben still off the front, that little pink dot there, and he is rolling solo. Alright, don't want to do this, but I have to. It definitely impacted the race here. Watch Rowan here in the green jacket. He has someone go by him. He wants to follow that wheel. Didn't realize someone was coming up on his side. He went down. 5 or 6 guys went down. And then not only that, but a lot of guys behind that wreck, just if they didn't go down, they slammed on their brakes and weren't able to get around all the carnage. And so it definitely impacted the race. But watch Tony right here. Don't know how he does it, but he jumps over the bike and rides away. As it zooms out here, take a look at how many people are affected. My teammate got caught behind it, had to stop completely, and at that point just couldn't catch back up to the leaders.
Handful, at least 4 or 5.
All right, back on the climb. If you look forward, Ben still off the front by a little bit, and that's 2/3 of a lap that he's been off the front. But after a while, we do catch him there in the pink. Shout out to DJ here for wiping off my camera. The dude didn't have a jacket or anything. It was freezing, man. He was just rocking short sleeves. Jumping ahead to lap number 3, got Cameron in the rear cam here. Last race, the break was like 5 or 6 guys. This one's more like 10 or 12. I did like this more. I felt a little bit safer in numbers. I was able to, if I fell off the back a little bit, I could get back on. The other thing I'd say about this break is every single person on the podium from last race is in the break. As we finished up lap 3, I started to notice that everybody's bikes and drive chains were just sounding horrible. There was sand and mud in the disc brake rotors, in the drive chains, and I'll just be quiet here for a second so you can hear it. All right, let's jump ahead. Last lap here. We're coming into that right-hander that leads to the final climb. Last race, this is where the 2 Bens just launched. And you got Ben in the pink there on the right, and he does the same thing. I know that I have to go with him if I'm going to stay near the front. Luckily, like I said, we have more numbers this time, so more and more people are covering that. If you remember from the last video, this climb kind of kicks up, flattens out for a section, and then kicks up again. So fortunately, everybody was able to stick together for that first little kicker, and this section right here is kind of where it flattens out.
Hey, Ben! You guys get to the back!
Guys, this video sucks with the water on the lens and all that, but shouldn't have provoked these guys. Ben's launch, I follow, power kicks up. Right here, we crest the hill. You can see the 2 Bens up ahead and Brandon on my wheel.
I can't go nothing.
All right, so this was a little bit of PTSD from the last race. Those 2 launched. Me and Brandon tried to bridge. Brandon ends up bridging, and then I get dropped. But I feel a little bit better about this situation here. I got Tony and Brandon with me. We got the 2 Bens in sight. I did just bury myself up that climb, but I'm feeling a lot more confident on this descent. Over the top of that climb, I had just a few seconds to catch my breath, recover a bit, but on this descent, I figured I was probably the heaviest one out of the 3 of us. I had the best chance of getting some decent speed coming down. I am a 200-pounder to catch these skinny little 16-year-olds. The bottom of the descent, we have the 2 Bens in striking distance, and we have Tony and Brandon on my wheel, and then also, dude, hero descent by Nick. And then Nick goes on and gets on the front. He just bridged up to us, descended like a champ, hits the front, and then he just doesn't come off. A little bit later, still on the front. A little bit later, yeah, still on the front. Brandon, who got 3rd last race, gets a little frisky right here. To add to the PTSD of last time, he takes a flyer exactly where I absolutely blew up last race. It's a slight incline. He goes, both Bens go. But the difference being, for me at least, is that I hadn't just bridged up like last race. So still able to stay connected. Here, what I really wanted to do right before this right-hander, I wanted to be on the front, take the best line I could, because every time we come out of this corner, I mean, everybody stands up and just mashes. And yeah, I wanted to be on the front, make sure I could sag that area, not get completely dropped, because that is actually the same spot I got dropped coming through this corner here. So in front of me, Ben and Nick, Still got Ben, Tony, and Brandon behind me, and we're all still together. Probably about, I don't know, a mile and a half to go. Less than a mile to go. Who's on the front? Nick. The guy is a freaking machine. I honestly don't understand it. Him and I have raced a couple times before. There's a crit video that I did where he literally led me out the entire last lap, and I was barely able to come around him for the win. And I mean, he was sprinting seated. I was standing up. The guy is super strong. All right, drop a comment. I wanted to know what you guys think on how I approach these last, I don't know, 200, 150 yards. So I peel off Nick's first wheel, and I peel off hoping that one or two of the bins kind of fill in, and then I could be third wheel going into the sprint. So we go up this little riser, and then it's a slight descent, and I figure I'll have a little bit of an advantage going into this slight descent with my weight. And so one of the bins does come through, and he starts hammering. Unfortunately, you saw Nick, he kept looking over his shoulder. He fires it up, and at this point, I come around the bin, number one, and realize, yeah, Nick's already got like 4 bike lengths on us. He has time to post up across the finish line, and then I'm in the sprint with these two 16-year-olds. And what do you know? Yeah, he got me. Photo finish. Freaking Ben. There was a little bit of a question on who got second, who got third. So I did come around one bin, but the other bin, him and I were kind of neck and neck. He did a bike throw, I didn't, and I got third place. Huge respect to Nick. He drug us around almost the entire last lap and just rode us off of his wheel in the sprint. So congrats. This is the standings for the series. I'm fairly certain this is wrong. I think I'm third behind the 2 bins. Fun event. Can't wait to do it next year. Thanks for watching, guys.